Election meddling expected to take center stage at the Helsinki summit just days after a dozen Russians were indicted by the special counsel. National Security Advisor John Bolton says the indictments actually give the president an upper hand.
I would say, in fact, it strengthens his hand. It shows that the justice system, the Department of Justice, are aware of these Russian efforts at election meddling. And I think the president can put this on the table and say, this is a serious matter. We need to talk about it.
The president's critics convinced he's not going to press Putin enough on the issue today. Let's bring in our panel, Patrice Leon-Luca of the Independent Women's Forum and Robin Biro, former Obama campaign field director. Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, Patrice, President Trump has already spoken out about this issue of the meddling and, of course, what happened in 2016. I use the word 2016. Listen to what the president said.
This was during the Obama administration. They were doing whatever it was during the Obama administration. And I heard that they were trying, or people were trying, to hack into the RNC, too, the Republican National Committee. But we had much better defenses. I think the DNC should be ashamed of themselves for allowing themselves to be hacked.
So Patrice's critics say that he should have canceled the summit, but he's saying, look, this was not under my administration, Patrice.
Well, of course, critics are going to say cancel the summit because they are fearful that, you know, there could be some good coming out of President Trump meeting with the head of Russia. I mean, I think what's important here is that cybersecurity needs to be an important part of our conversation. Our, organizations, whether those are political organizations or our government, really taking that seriously. I think that's important. And when we look at his supporters, whether it's just 59% of Americans want this meeting to happen, 81% of Republicans do too.
We talked about that earlier, but Robin Biro, obviously Chuck Schumer leading the charge on the Democratic side against the summit. Listen.
It is inescapable. You can't deny it that Putin tried to influence our elections. He can do it again. And by meeting and business as usual and just asking him a question, did you do it? And then he says no, that's not good enough. Putin has to pay a price for doing this.
You know what, Robin? In August 2017, we shut down diplomatic facilities from Russia, San Francisco, New York, D.C. This president has put more sanctions on Russia than the previous president. Why the criticism from Schumer?
It's look at what Donald Trump has said and done, though, about this. He's literally tweeted out that he wants to work with Russia to establish a cybersecurity unit to protect our elections.
President Obama tried to work with Putin. George W.
House.
Bush tried to work with Putin. They all did this after the first 6 months of their presidencies.
Yeah, and with mixed results. So I'm skeptical, and especially since there will be no one else in the room, and he's up against a former KGB agent. That's concerning to me. I just want this president to come from a position of strength. Of course, as a veteran, I want a successful outcome. I just want for him to acknowledge that Russia did, in fact, do this, and B, if it continues, there will be consequences.
You want Putin or Trump to acknowledge it? President Trump has already said that he says, yeah, the Russians. He's acknowledged that. He acknowledged that a year ago. Putin is never going to acknowledge that they meddled in our election.
No, not Putin. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. He's still, look. He said last year, not that long ago, that it could have very well been a 400-pound man, and he's still somewhat of a denier of this, and he still calls it a witch hunt and a conspiracy. But this actually did happen. I want him to in plain language say that and say that it's wrong and will not be tolerated.
We'll
and there
see
will
if
be
they say.
consequences.
We'll see how the meeting goes. It's less than 2 hours away. Really quick, new Fox News poll, Patrice. As far as Trump's handling of the Russian involvement in the presidential election for 2016, 36% approve, 54% disapprove. Those numbers have changed, and it's not favorable to the president, Patrice. Why?
I think the people are wondering, okay, well, what's really happening here, especially with this investigation, and whether it's less favorable on the president. I think they feel like he may be taking it not as seriously as he could be. But I think the concern here, though, is that, he wants to ensure that this is going to be done fairly. And coming out of last week's interesting investigations and testimony from some of the people who led those investigations, at least on the Hillary Clinton scandal, there's a lot to be concerned about.
Meddling, the big topic today. Patrice Leon-Luca, Robin Biro. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.